time, weather, and
Audio Jungle.
Our mission is to train each one of you to become a United States Marine.
Welcome to my channel, Old Fat Marine. Your presence here is truly appreciated. Today is January 27th, 2022, and the silver spot price is an insult for anyone with an intelligence that is paying attention. Inflation is raging all over the world, and yet the silver spot price continues to flounder and go lower. Prices for virtually all commodities have jumped by many percentage points rather quickly, but not silver. We all know that the U.S. government manipulation of the CPI is little more than propaganda to conceal the truth of much higher inflation numbers. Just add in energy and food, which is excluded by the CPI, to realize what most citizens really are dealing with. Seeing the spot price for silver get continually hammered lower really shows there is something going on that influences the spot price for silver. Other commodity prices have soared. Look at coffee prices. They're at their highest levels in over 10 years.
Do we have any coffee left?
Aluminum has experienced more than 136% price increase just last year alone in 2021. In 1992, a ton of steel was $36. Prior to the pandemic, steel was trading between $500 to $800 per ton. In 1980, gold was trading for $615 an ounce, and now it hovers around $1,800 an ounce. You have to understand the need for inflation for the Federal Reserve to exist. Commodity prices have continually inflated since the inception of the Federal Reserve in 1913. Since January of 1980, almost all metals have increased greatly in dollar cost. The dollar has been ravaged by inflation since the creation of the Federal Reserve because inflation is a necessary byproduct for the existence of the Federal Reserve.
The biggest increase in more than 3 decades. And it's hitting our wallets in a huge way.
This is a subtle and covert method for the ruling class to use to take your money without any argument at all. The American public accepts inflation as something normal. Sadly, the public does not study nor understand history. The individual American is clueless as to how inflation has robbed them their entire life. Except silver. The current spot price for silver is an insult because it proves the American people are just not paying attention anymore. Why does not anyone see that virtually the only commodity that has not experienced any inflation is silver?
Let us hear it for our poor dead friend.
The current spot price for silver is less than half of what it was in January of 1980. Ha! We could blame the Hunt brothers for the all-time high, but they were really amateurs because once silver hit almost $50 an ounce, the government stepped in and just shut them down. They blatantly, artificially suppressed the price of the silver simply by manipulating the laws involved when buying and selling silver. The government essentially used the legal system to squash what J.P. Morgan does almost daily today. Whatever or however you want to explain the price of silver being less than half of what it was 42 years ago, name anything else in this category.
And we're not calling it the Enterprise.
For anyone that's paying attention, the current spot price for silver is an insult because it just does not make sense.
what's the problem?
The demand for industrial silver has been almost vertical. The world has been running deficits in silver production for well over 8 years and running. The new green laws implemented by California and America in general do not take into account there is not enough silver produced in a year to meet these new requirements. Electric vehicles need silver or they won't be manufactured. Same thing for solar panels. California law now requires new homes to have solar panels when they build them, which comes out to be an average of about 8 ounces per house. Where is all this silver going to be coming from?
You lose! Good day, sir!
The current spot price for silver is an insult because it assumes that we should accept the silver market pricing is merely different, but preferably they would rather us not notice it at all. This pricing is nonsense because it simply does not make any sense as the use for silver has taken off as more and more uses for the metal are revealed. The industrial need for silver has produced an almost decade-wide shortage, and the price continues to inexorably decline. The dollar has had an average inflation rate that has caused it to lose value since the beginning of the Federal Reserve. Between 1980 and today, producing a cumulative price increase of basically what comes out to be 238.35%. But yet the price of silver has dropped by over 50% and has held this firm low price, defying the rest of the items in the world.
Wes, you cheated.
When silver no longer has its price artificially suppressed, the cost of goods will be in the hyperinflation range. Most citizens do not have a clue as to how many uses silver has today. In fact, the list for silver continues to expand. The bankers that control the U.S. government know this, and they want to keep the price of silver suppressed, all the while they accumulate massive stockpiles of the shiny stuff. It is a proven fact, easily verifiable, that J.P. Morgan owns the largest stockpile of silver in the world. Despite their own forecast of the price continuing to drop, the banksters just keep stacking it. The quantity they hold makes the Hunt brothers look like the mere amateurs that they were.
Don't let the sun go down on...
It is reported that J.P. Morgan holds well over 1.2 billion ounces of silver in their vaults.
This is a billion. It's a very, very large number.
This artificially suppressed price will continue until the Great Reset happens, which is being planned by the bankers of the world as we speak. This means J.P. Morgan will be the largest benefactor in the world for holding physical silver when the price is untethered. The current spot price for silver is an insult because someone that is looking will see the glaring exclusion from inflation silver has maintained over the last 42 years.
You can't see me.
When the SHTF event happens, the leash will be severed and silver will necessarily be reset. The stockholders will be left totally abandoned.
Wilson! Wilson!
While the banks shine with their newly priced silver bullion already stockpiled on reserve. I see it as clear as day. You too should be angry and insulted. If you are not, you really do not understand the level of destruction that is coming to the US dollar when the Great Reset happens. Prepare. Semper Fi.
Time, weather, and...
It's gold, and it's mine, mine, mine.